To order the Woodbridge Conservation Commission meeting of October 9th, 2025, and we have a quorum. Rachel's not here, but all our other members are here, and I want to start by all of us raising our glasses and toasting the completion of the Deep Trails grant that has signs on historic places all over town.
Ooh.
Great job, everyone.
Great work, everyone. And thank you to the Land Trust,
Yes, and the Historic Society.
the Historic Society,
It was a good, and the Public Works, it was a really good collaboration.
Office of Finance, and the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection.
Yes,
Woot woot.
hoot hoot. Have people had a chance to look at the meeting notes from last meeting, the special meeting? Give everyone
We
just a
just
minute.
got revised.
They
ones,
just got
so-
revised, so we're just looking for 1 sec.
Is it David Irwin?
How can it be Barbara McCarthy Berkeley?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
There's a little morphing that's happened there.
That
Is
is
it-
so funny,
Is that
Barbara.
your name or my name?
It is so funny because
Diana, I remember.
it is so funny because somebody invited me to a meeting this week and they called me Diana McCarthy Smith, and I was like,
I guess it's catching.
It was Diana, I know.
so obviously they read these meeting minutes
No,
first.
because nobody saw. I didn't post it yet.
So it is David Irvin. How is it?
Irvin, okay.
Yeah. Irvin. I'm not sure how it's spelled in here, but
ERWIN.
Very good.
I have a question about
Yeah?
the last line. Was the last line discussed at our meeting? Or is that just a,
The front page, yes. That's according to Ben.
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay.
yeah, about the POCD.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, we talked about that. That was just an update that we gave.
Worthy of note, though. Anyone ready to?
So we've
Accept
got
it.
the change of the name on the first motion to accept the meeting minutes, change on David's name. Is there anything else?
Let's see.
Just on the Justin thing, he specifically asked for some feedback from us, so we need to send that over. I'm gonna send that out. And is it, all bats detected are either on the CT endangered list, or is it the federal endangered list?
CT endangered list.
Okay. And CT special concern?
So there's no federally listed species on the site. No federally listed bird species bat species on the site. So there's one bat, but we didn't detect it there.
The CT endangered one, okay. Okay.
Move to
Like to-
approve?
Make a motion to accept the minutes with the edits as so stated.
A second?
I said,
All in favor? Unanimous.
Great.
Okay. Any public comment? It doesn't look like there was any public comment.
Public comment going once, public comment going twice. Next.
What's happening? Trail cleanup day with Trailmaster on Sunday, the 11th. Oh, no, at 11, Sunday at 11. I
And it is
guess.
at, I believe, the Racebrook track. Give me a second, because I got this. Aww.
Okay.
Biscuits.
it was canceled?
Because we're expecting heavy rain and wind on Sunday the 12th. Biscuits. Oh well. So this month's trail maintenance is canceled, but hopefully we will know more soon from Jason. Aw.
And now we have members of the Sustainability Ad Hoc Committee who would like to,
We're waiting for 2 more members.
Oh.
That's what we skipped.
sure.
Yeah, sorry, we are way too much ahead of schedule today.
Okay. So let's start with old business, and when your other members come, we'll interject.
You'll know.
Okay. We'll know. Is there a place for them?
Yeah, I'm
There.
sure.
Okay. The Blue Trail subdivision, who would like to speak about that?
We met with Justin last meeting, Justin Raffone. We gave him some recommendations. He had given us some feedback. He was sending us the report. Not sure if anybody got that. I guess David Irvin also did a walkthrough of the
The
property.
forester.
Yeah, the forester from Deep also did a walkthrough of that property. And we just made some recommendations that we need to follow up in an email.
Okay.
So would it be easier, Sharon, if I send you the recommendations from what we talked about, and you can send them over to him since you're already in contact?
Sure. The other thing is, Brian Pines, the head of the land trust, saw the meeting and had some comments about it, and the upshot of our discussion was that maybe it would be good if Brian Pines came and gave us more information about how easements work, how, the structure of how land gets transferred, and
That would be fantastic.
so he'd like to do that, and so we should probably try to schedule that in the next few months.
Yeah. I think that'd be
think
great.
If I can also interject, Brian talked with me about it, and he feels that I, in particular, made some recommendations which he was upset about. I don't feel that I ever would have made the recommendations that he thought. He said, watch the thing. So
Well, certainly
how,
Well, just to set the
intentionally,
record
you
straight.
did not make any recommendations that you thought, that you're welcome to open more expertise to any recommendations that you might have made to Justin.
well, yeah, it was something to do with the land trust not taking care of their trails, which I would never have said. I don't know how this got interpreted, whatever I did say, but I will listen to our meeting and find out what I said that was,
I
No,
guess
I thought we were saying that the town, that it shouldn't go to the ownership of the town. Our recommendation is that it would go to the
That's
ownership of the
exactly
land trust
what-
because they would maintain the trails.
that's exactly what I said to Brian tonight, that
okay, well, that's good clarification, that we appreciate all that the land trust does,
Mhm.
and we'd like to have them have as much, their jurisdiction over the land their stewardship has been very good to date,
Exactly,
and we'd like them
exactly.
to have more stewardship of any more lands that
So
become
if
available.
anybody misinterprets what I said in watching that, I think it is a misinterpretation, because I never
Intended that.
intended to imply that the land trust doesn't take good care of their land.
They're stewards of the land. You know that.
Okay.
We know you would never say anything like that, Barbara.
So, is there anything else, any other follow-up? I think that Jason Raffone is going to get in touch with Brian Pines to meet with him also. And then at some point, it seems like that he should come back to us once he's been through wetlands and kind of suss things out a little more. Maybe
I
have
think so.
Brian Pines come at the same time. So, does that sound like a, so we should get in touch with Justin at some point.
Yeah, the other things we had mentioned to him was, he was gonna have, the way he was subdividing, he would have 3 parcels that could build houses on, but because of the size that they are, both of the other 2 parcels that he would not live on could be potentially subdivided even further. So we made some suggestions to him if he intends to only have 2 neighbors abutting his property, and then the wilderness behind him, the river behind him, that perhaps he wants, when he subdivides those parcels, he needs to put something into the deed to reflect that. That's the intention of them, is that they are only to be, you know, however he wanted it. Or a certain
Okay.
percentage of them be land that goes into conservation. The only thing that we had a question on is there was a trail, maybe that's what it was about the utility company has a trail in there, and we said the utility company doesn't maintain the access easement.
We did have that conversation, yeah.
We did, we
Maybe
talked about that, yeah, so I
You
think
probably meant the utility company, and yeah.
we got your
Yeah.
back, Jack.
Yeah.
But the,
I do remember that part of the conversation.
we
I
did,
remember
we did
that
talk about that
conversation
because he
too,
said, we said that there is, he said that there is a pathway now to access some of the trails.
Yes, and it is not well maintained, that,
Right, that
I've
could
been
have
on
been
that
it.
trail, it's really poorly marked.
Yeah, he even said
too.
that it's not, well, yeah, he doesn't think anybody's been back there because he doesn't think a
for,
truck could
for a
even get
long
back there
time,
for a long
right.
time,
I
yeah.
remember him saying that.
Okay,
Um,
good clarification.
Yeah.
So we'll be interested when Wetlands has its determination and how to follow up and help him offer his land to, hopefully to the land trust, but to whichever, or to the town if that's what he so desires. So should we move on to, do you have your group?
No, we're still waiting.
One more person, okay,
Spear back.
okay.
Sorry
The
about
Fountain
that.
Street development, who would like to speak to that?
The which? The Beecher? Oh, Fountain
No,
Street.
Fountain Street.
Fountain Street.
Some of us went to the last hearing. Did you go to last?
I
Val
went
went to the last
I went
hearing.
there.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were many people who spoke out about just the development in general. The developers came and they presented, and they said things like the fire department, is okay with everything that we're doing. We showed them things, and they're on board with it. And then the last speaker rolled in, and it was the fire chief who said, I have not seen any revisions. We are not on board with anything. So it's just a good word of caution to.
I agree totally, and also the expert from the Land Trust and the Parks Department, the Parks Foundation Association, had a lot of really good comments about the runoff and how it's bedrock and putting, pavers there does no good, and who's going to maintain a pit 18, 19 feet down. And,
Yeah.
But I walked the site last week, and it is quite stunning to even have some perspective on how much blasting and how much rock needs to be removed. It's between 2,000 and 4,000 truckloads.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
they
they thought it was
brought that
closer to
up.
4,000.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
After-
so
Brought up,
that's startling. And I think another really good comment was the amount of parking spaces, and if there's anybody who has people who, have
They
friends
visitors
over,
or anything, yeah.
it's not like you can park on that road.
Yeah,
There's
no.
really no other places to park.
Yeah,
So
the other concern was,
aside from the fire department
Um,
not feeling safe about it.
right, yeah, and the whole backside, which is the long side, there was no access for any vehicles, and their argument was, well, you get it on 3 sides, and so people have, as long as there's 450 feet or 480 feet of access, then, it's fine, it's code. So you just better hope you're not like the person who's 480 feet away and the fire's coming behind you and you need to get down that hallway.
Well,
And then get down the stairs to the other floors where somebody can catch you.
one other really good point was that there's only one elevator, and it turns out it's a freight elevator, which people are not allowed to go
I didn't
in.
think it was a freight elevator. I thought somebody said it
I
better
think
not
there
be.
wasn't- I think there wasn't a freight elevator.
Right.
It's
Well,
just-
either
There
way,
has
either
to
there
be.
isn't a front
Right,
end,
there's
a
only one.
freight elevator, and there's no way to get up mattresses
There
and big
has to
pieces
be
of
a freight
clothes.
elevator to
And
get
if there
furniture
is a
and things
front
up.
freight elevator, people aren't allowed
It's
to transport
illegal.
themselves. So being on the 4th floor with any disability at all, like a broken ankle or anything, means you're in big trouble.
Yeah, you have to move out. The other thing that they mentioned when they, had somebody walk the property and verify that there are no species of importance or concern or critical habitats or anything. And then I think I spoke on that, just to clarify that at the properties surrounding that parcel, there, we have found them, we have identified them, and wildlife knows no property boundaries. And that the other concern really for DEEP right now is a high priority on preserving core forests. And this property would be an example of forest fragmentation where we're, disconnecting parts from others, so.
And there's a vote on this, on
The 21st.
Sorry, the other interesting thing that happened in the last 5 minutes, because I was one of 3 people who stayed in that meeting, is one of the commissioners raised his hand and made a motion to
rescind.
revert back to
To
the
rescind.
TPZ regulations prior to December 2nd. And then there was a second, and the chair, Jeff Kennedy, who out of all the speakers who made comment, told me that my comments have to be new because I've already spoken, despite the fact that everybody else who was giving comments had already spoken too.
already
He called
spoken.
me out individually. Thanks, Jeff. Giving you lots of love. Appreciate singled out. At the time that they then had a discussion whether or not they wanted to vote on it, Jeff said, well, why don't you withdraw your motion and we'll move it to another agenda at further time and we can have public hearing on it again. So,
there's gonna be another public hearing.
there's at least gonna be on the agenda at some point in time.
Yeah, there's a continuation, yeah.
Yeah,
continuation.
well, there was a
October
continuation of the
21st.
public hearing, which was also kind of sus, because at the previous TPZ meeting, the developer's attorney was very clear that he wanted one more meeting with public hearing and absolutely no more. And then at the public hearing meeting this week, he was very clear that he wanted public hearing to just keep going. So,
Oh, he did?
it's an election season, so I think we see some of the ebbs and flows of what's going on right now, and I think people are well aware of it. My concern is that they just are delay until they get past the election, and then they'll go back to doing, their way or the highway kind
The
of
other-
behavior.
The other concern is that the longer they delay, the more people can put in applications as it stands now.
Correct. Right,
So
yeah,
even
and I
the
think that was the.
21st of October is too long.
So, I wanna understand, there is no vote on the 21st of October.
I thought they said they were gonna vote on it.
They were
Yeah,
going,
they said
yes.
October
Yeah.
21st.
Okay, well, we,
So-
I have a comment. Well, Woodbridge made the news. It was on television, but I thought it was interesting. I thought there were good points made at the meeting, but the narrative that came out in the paper was Woodbridge was against affordable housing, and that was a small part of it. And again, this narrative goes out. No one in Woodbridge says anything, and that's what's out there. It had nothing to
And it
do
has
with
nothing
only
to
like
do with
12
affordable
units for
housing.
affordable housing.
Yeah, the
and this was
Affordable
Channel
Housing
12
Committee is
that-
against this project. The Affordable Housing Committee on Woodbridge is against the project.
It's against.
because it has so little affordable
Yeah,
housing.
because it's not,
Right, but
it's
that's
not an
not what was
affordable housing
advertised
project.
on, the title was Woodbridge opposes affordable housing. That's what was on television.
Wow.
That's sloppy
And so
journalism.
that is, I don't
No,
understand
when
why.
when the guy was here, the cameraman, he was very clear. We were standing outside. He only wanted to hear people who would be like confrontational.
And pro the building. He was looking for people who were pro building it because he tried to interview me and then realized I was against it and walked away.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well, there
but
were
I
two-
mean,
there were
they
two
were
that-
very, they were.
He
One
built the
was Channel
story
12,
anyway.
and the other one was a woman. They were both, it was on the news.
Yeah, it was in a Fox too.
It was
I sent it
Fox,
to
it was
someone.
in
Oh,
12.
really?
I sent it to you
yes.
this morning.
Sad. Okay, should we, now revert back to our original,
All that to say is, I think we need it's
Sorry,
important that
I'm so
we
late.
attend TPZ.
Like my husband.
I think it's important that we continue to talk to them. The other thing they recognized is that the POCD was voted down unanimously.
so they're still being upheld to the old POCD, which has different,
Right,
Yeah, I
so,
thought that was a good point.
Yes.
Because they have to evaluate this project based on the existing POCD.
mhm.
right, and that has some stringent things about clear cutting, and I think it was Paul Harrigan who made some really good
Yeah,
points
I
about how
thought
it
his
doesn't.
points were very
His
good.
points were excellent.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so before we do Beecher Road property, why don't we return to the Ad hoc Sustainability Committee?
All right.
Hey,
Thanks
welcome.
for having us, guys. I will take ownership of this because I kind of pushed the issue, but I had spoken with Ben and with Diana at different times this summer about.
Wait, first, what's your name?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Alyssa Anderson.
You guys want to introduce yourselves so we all know?
Yeah. I thought we already did that.
Our two viewers at home know who's with us.
Hey, guys. Alyssa Anderson. I'm Hillary Drum.
I'm Lana Marcuccio. Stephanie Pennington.
DJ.
So we are, I guess, half of the sustainability committee. There's 10 of us total. Or actually, and well, you're kind of like, yeah, but
I'm a hybrid.
we're 60%. So we were kind of talking, we have a lot of overlap in the things that we care about, and we wanted to see if there are things that we can work together on, because I think we probably have similar purposes and similar intent for our community. So kind of wanting to see what ideas you have, what you're currently working on, how we can support that, how maybe you can support us as well, like kind of just create this relationship, because there are so many different town committees right now, and they're all kind of working independently. So how can we come together to build a better Woodbridge with all of us?
Yeah.
So I guess the first question would be, what are you all currently working on, and how can we have input on that, or like if you want us to, and how could we help with that?
Sure. First, thank you for coming,
Yeah.
for joining us, and also congratulations on your bronze, earning your bronze
Hillary.
credential for Sustainable CT.
Yeah.
You did all the work.
Yes, big accomplishment there. The Woodbridge Conservation Commission, first and foremost, is about preserving our natural resources and leaving it in better shape than when we found it, hopefully, for future generations of Woodbridge and surrounding communities to enjoy. So that's our charge. We are meant to advise the Board of Selectmen and COOPOP, TPZ. So when it comes to anything that has to do with preserving natural resources and protecting our parks and our parks, not our parks, our parks and our open spaces and green spaces, we really welcome every opportunity to work together. One thing that we are, we just kind of sort of worked on the POCD. No, we had one chance to say something about the POCD, but it's going to be coming back again, and there's a real that's meant to be like a perfect intersection between like the environment and the built environment. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for sustainability to weigh in there, because sustainability first and foremost is about preserving natural resources and reducing the amount of resources that we're consuming in our buildings and our processes in our days and day-to-day lives. So I think there's a lot of overlap between the POCD. So hopefully when they create the steering committee, you guys will have somebody on that. We're also working on, we're going to start updating the open space plan for town. And one fun thing is trying to define what open space means to Woodbridge. There's really no consistent definition of that, town to town, state to state, group to group, organization. So that's a fun plan that we'll be working on. And so anything we can do to help get all of the services and resources out to the community about what wonderful natural resources we have is great.
So I could throw, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Sharon.
you go.
So one other thing that I've noticed, so I haven't watched your meetings, but I try to follow your minutes and agendas and stuff like that, and you guys seem like you're very good at community outreach. Looks like you guys do kind of like, I don't know, it
The
just
best
seems
Earth
like you're
Day
always
ever.
kind of, and so that's actually something that I think we need help with. Like we try to do that, but a lot of the things that we would love to get messages out, we just sort of, we have other things to focus on. So like you guys, I think we're doing something with invasive species.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we're really interested in. And so, some of that is like coming up with, getting the town to come up with an invasive species plan for their properties, but a lot of that is also educating, townspeople and that sort of thing.
And
So
mobilizing, and mobilizing
and
townspeople.
mobilizing
I mean,
people,
it's-
and,
it's boots on the ground that makes it.
Yeah, and like I was even in contact with a teacher from Amity, and she was asking me, do you guys do things where like high school students can come out and like, destroy invasive species? And I was like, yeah, I mean, we don't really have stuff like that, but it seems like you guys are kind of good at that. So that might be a good place to partner in. And
I think
then
that's a great idea.
the other area
And
was,
the, like land management, forest management plan.
An Amity teacher asked you?
I reached out to her and I
Was
just,
it Ally Nork? Or?
yes, I think so, yeah.
Hillary's like, I'm on it.
No. So she's on Bethany Sustainability.
Okay,
and
good.
She's the guru at the high school. For it.
Okay,
And
good.
they are huge on
Yeah.
invasive.
Yeah,
they,
she
they do love a
seemed
good invasive
like a
species.
great
Yeah.
person. I actually have to respond to her, but
Yeah.
so I owe her an email. But she seemed had some really good suggestions.
Excuse me, who is this?
Ally Nork is her name?
Ally,
Nork.
Nork.
N-O-R-K.
And then
They fit in somewhere in
and-
between with another name, but
I just have.
she does go by that.
And then the other area for outreach is, so I've been trying to tell everybody who will listen, that the country club is this really special habitat. It's represented by only 3% of Connecticut. That's why it's so special. I actually went and talked to the housing committee yesterday and gave public comment. And when I told them that, they were all really surprised. They're like, oh, really? We didn't realize that it was this special type of habitat. And so I feel like that's also somewhere else that would be really good to sort of, educate people somehow about, why it is that we're trying to protect the properties that we're trying to protect. And so anyway, those are just two outreach areas that I think would be helpful, but I'm sure that there's other things we can think of.
Yeah, those are great. I also think sustainability and with your connections to the library might create you could have more access to more people through Barbara because she has contact with so many people and the library has contact with so many people, so that's another way to improve it. And I was just thinking that, and maybe you do this, but I was just in Europe and it seems like the balance between land and a hamlet of people and agriculture was so much more fluid, and I feel like emphasizing that and giving examples of how it's done in other places could be helpful, because I feel like the United States, we just think of sprawl, like a city starts and it moves out. And I was really struck by, there's a little city and then there's fields and then and it just had such more sense of balance. And I thought, if you could help us let people know that it isn't the only option of letting a city balloon out. And other countries who've been sustaining, habitats for people for thousands of years have done it a little differently. I think we could all benefit from those examples being more illuminated. But I also think that we probably have a 98% overlap, so if we can use each other as a resource, that would be,
You're right.
our Venn diagram is very good.
And that might
So-
be a little low.
Yeah. it might be a little low. So, and I think what I noticed about you guys is you make it fun for people, and I think if we can inject some more, enthusiasm by making it something that people engage in and get children engaged in and stuff, would, even from our point of view. And one of the things I've been thinking of, we just finished this grant where we have 16 signs, and it was a thought with Barbara and I that if we could create a badge where kids could go and just take pictures at every place and then get a little badge or get some recognition, it would get them out in the woods and they'd appreciate the land and they'd learn the history. And if we could collaborate with you on that, because you might have a lot more of the ways to connect with people, and we have the signs and the anyway, and that would connect the land trust, the historic society, us and you. And I think the more we kind of create things where we're unified and build community, that would be helpful.
And if anybody has any experience as a teacher or with lesson plans,
No.
No?
Nope, just two teachers always.
my thought, we can acquaint you with our project and talk about some lesson plans. So the more people that know about it, that would be better for Woodbridge and for
Did you-
the
did you
surrounding
hear about
communities
the
as well.
sites? Did you hear about the sites that we got the plaques at?
No, please tell us.
Oh, okay.
oh,
Barbara.
okay, just a quick overview. The commission couple of years ago, started on this project of working with the Historical Society directly, where the Historical Society found particular sites near the trails that were of historic interest, usually ruins, but sometimes not. And so we developed a QR code system where there is a sign now put out somewhere near each of these historic sites, with the QR code on it, and then people from the Historical Society have written up brief descriptions of the history, et cetera, and what these things are. And so when you scan the QR code, you get taken to the website of the Historical Society that tells you all about.
So these are along
They're all along the
the
trails.
different trails, so
Yeah.
have they been added on the website to the different trails and trail maps?
Not yet.
Not yet. They're being, they actually, I don't even know what the word is, but they have pinpointed them.
GPS them.
They are now putting them onto the
Yes.
maps. So
Okay.
when they
Because
reprint the maps, they're going to,
That would
Yes,
be,
that'd be so
yeah,
fun.
and that
That
would
would
be,
get the kids involved.
Right.
Jeff's already planning with it.
Right.
But like do that for Earth Day. Jeff can lead the treasure hunt.
That's a cool idea.
yeah,
Pretty sure he's already planned it.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's what's it called? It's not a scavenger hunt, but it's a thing that, geocaching.
Yeah, tracking.
I think those would be great as geocaching because people already do that. There's already a network of people
Yeah.
that actually go to locations
And they leave little things, right?
It's,
So
it's,
maybe
it's
we
really
could have
just
a
like
subcommittee
code.
between
yeah,
you and
there's a
us and
stamp or something
create some.
inside when you get to the little
It's a code,
geocache.
you download an app, it's a code that you can put in. Sometimes people buy stickers and put them on their car, and their car is a geocache. Some people actually bury it, but like, it's GPS trackable. It's really cool, and it was very popular. And my nieces and nephews were really into it. I never got into it, but, I mean, that's the first thing I thought of when you were saying that. Where do I go to find all these places so we could hit those places?
That's the last part of our project is we've just had a publicity thing,
Mhm.
tell people about it, and then we have some money left to do some maps and stuff. But maybe that money could be used to create some of what you guys are talking about.
CPH, any particular age group you're looking for?
Different age
Well,
groups.
you wanna hit them all.
they're all
Yeah.
different
Well,
age
anyone who
groups.
can
The
read it,
write-ups are
right?
pretty basic. I
You
mean,
know, the
QR
parents
code
go with them.
is-
That could be the parent.
15 minutes and zero money
Right.
on the website where the maps are. Now the grown-up is looking and like, oh, that's really cool. We should go to
Right.
that trail and
Yeah.
check that one out. Doing the
I think
geocaching
that's free too, geocaching.
is but setting it all up is not a 15-minute
No.
thing. Like I'm saying, like the other one you guys can do, like
Right.
literally practically on your way out of here, you could be
Uh-huh.
clicking and doing it, or but then the geocaching, if you have the money in for the apps, and what about, because I'm almost wondering, dragging in the high school kids, if someone could create, remember the like Go Pokemon?
Oh my
So
gosh.
that, then you go there and there's picture
That's a good
there,
idea,
take
too.
a picture with like you're chasing, I don't know, the Woodbridge.
Also, though, on the
No.
grant, though, we did have to put so many lesson plans. That was part of the grant. This was a grant from the state of Connecticut.
Oh, so you
For
need
deep,
a-
so we did have, that was part of the grant to put in the lesson plans.
okay.
So I did a lesson plan on charcoal mounds. I didn't know anything about them before and found out that there was a place on one of the trails that had charcoal mounds in the 1880s or whatever. So I did a lesson plan on that. So we need more lesson plans for
Okay,
this
'cause
grant.
It fits into, is it third grade, I think, right now, is like history of.
Of your local space. I thought
Yes.
it was fourth,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
I don't
So it
know.
might
I
Third
think it
grade.
used to be
No, it's third grade
moved.
because
I
they
think
come
it's
to the
third
Darling
now.
House.
Right,
in
saying, because
October.
third usually does the different
The
tours,
different-
so
To the
it
schoolhouse
That
and
would
so
be
forth and so on.
could be built into.
They go
That's
down
right,
to the
they're going to
town
Darling
side.
House like next week.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it could be kind of built into.
And there is one at
And
the-
there
I'm
is-
sure there's one over
There's
there.
one at the Darling House
Well, we
or
could
on the
introduce
trail
it to the
just
teachers.
by it. And there's
Yeah,
one at
that'd
the
be great.
schoolhouse
It's
where they're gonna go.
towards the
The
trail.
third
So those
graders.
are
Right.
Yeah,
two
like if
easy
you're going on the
lesson
third grade field trip,
plans
here's
for-
third grade teachers.
Right,
Here's the
that's
thing
what we
you
were-
can
That was the
pass out to your
idea.
kids and send home that has the list of all the sites
Right,
with a little built-in game.
right.
Go.
Great.
We'll go on the website. Barbara,
So the
Barbara,
other-
there was a quite, the Leatherman, Barbara, the Charcoal House, Darling House,
The
right?
schoolhouse, Darling House, the charcoal mounds, the Leatherman, the
Leatherman.
town hall. What were some of the other ones?
Yeah, Barbara knows
Well,
about
it's
the
the
Leatherman.
whole center of town.
Sounds really scary.
Um,
It's like a evil.
The Pawcaset site, there's, pardon?
Can you send
Serpent,
us
the
the,
Yeah.
cause then
The
I'll
list, sure.
look at it for third
So
at
Barbara, will you
Beecher
send
and
her
I'll look
list?
at it
Okay,
for the
thank
Haven
you.
project for
I
Matt.
can send
Which
you,
isn't
Yeah.
yet, but
I can send
Next
you
year,
the
the year
list
after.
and you can,
Next year.
last year was water,
Write your
Year
email
before was
address.
energy.
so.
give me your email, I'll send you
Okay,
the
well, this is
list
already
and,
quite-
and a copy of
Thank
the
you.
map where each
But I-
thing is. It's
Okay.
spread out
One thing
all
that was
around
on our
town.
Horizon was to do a poetry walk,
Oh, nice.
similarly with plaques like that.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
Bethany, Bethany Land Trust has done that in Bethany.
Oh, that's
And,
nice.
So we were working with the poet laureate to come up with things like that, to have it on, I think they were gonna try the cornfield to do it.
How does that work? What is a poetry walk?
It's like a story walk. Have you ever done a story
Hmm.
walk?
Like you have like plaques with bits of it, so you have to continue reading it, you
Oh,
have
okay.
to continue walking.
I saw it
That's a
in
great idea.
Maine.
Yeah.
Well,
They're very-
It's really
Um,
Oh,
we
yeah.
did.
I like
Green
it.
Team actually did, so it's still we. Did it during one of our Arts Week for the pollinator.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, 2 years ago.
And so we wrote a story
Oh,
and-
great.
on pollination and you followed it around Beecher where everything was planted. And by the end, you got the whole
Oh, that's
story.
That would
with
be perfect.
pollinating.
Great.
Bethany's done it at the library. Branford does it at businesses. So you go from business to business, which
Hmm.
was very cool.
Interesting idea.
I thought would be very cool for Woodbridge.
It would be very.
That would be very, that's what
Yeah.
we're looking
great
for.
the economic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right, but again, so to have
but
all
you
these
could-
different kinds of things of like that people get used to this process, so we should like have all of these
Right, I'm
sort of
saying,
like
and
gather
then-
them all so
right,
we can do
and
them
they
the
link-
same way.
Together
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it becomes that similar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
this
it's the
actually
same format
feeds
so
into
that
the
everybody just
POCD
gets
a little
used
bit,
to it.
where one of the suggestions was to try to promote something more like ecotourism, you know, in the area. So, I mean, that's a good
Yeah.
intersection with all that.
Or one at the country club property
Mhm.
eventually, if it does not get fully developed.
Well, I want to speak to that. When I was at
We have to
the
go to our meeting.
meeting, I'll speak quickly. When I was at the a meeting where the Country Club of Woodbridge Plan was shared, Nicole, who's the head of Coopop, and I sort of hatched an idea to try to really preserve the part that isn't being intended to develop. And I then got, Tim Austin, who used to be chair, and I think Steve Muna liked the idea, and a bunch of people, Andrea, a bunch of people liked the idea, and I think it would be a great thing to do with you guys because it's something where people need to be involved to encourage that to happen. So,
Yeah, we need a lot of outreach for that.
Yeah.
If I can just say, if anybody listened to the Board of Selectmen meeting last night, because we brought this same thing up at our last meeting about, okay, if they're gonna go ahead with this plan, at least let us get a permanent
Conservation
easement
easement, yeah.
or some sort of easement on the 100 and some odd acres that are they declaring open space now, and then go from there trying to
Protect it.
protecting the rest of it. But it was David Vogel who got up from his seat as a selectman and went to public speaking and sat there and just blasted the whole thing. But part of his talk was on how, his point was how politicians change their minds all the time. And now, at this point, they're saying, okay, 100 and some odd acres are gonna be preserved, but we need to get them preserved and not just declared as open space. And he was really pushing that that's the way to, and I was gonna
That's
bring it
great.
up later
Good.
in our meeting and say, okay, we need to really start doing this, and I don't know how we do it. I don't know the process of where we go next, but if we could all
I think
kind
one
of,
of the things is forming coalition of people. So, is that something you guys are at least interested in? Somewhat preserving the the 100 acres that are.
Getting
started to
100
work.
acre
permanent
forest.
conservation
I
easement
think I
on.
want to learn more about that process.
And I think
Yeah.
some of that is like, even in the plan, it's like you're forming a Friends of the Country Club, you know, where you get a bunch of, volunteers and interested people. So like, we should really try to push the formation of that. I think that would be a
And
big
also,
impetus.
that would be good to utilize
That would
to
be
decrease invasive species.
Good as a,
Mhm.
as
Yeah,
a beginning
so,
point
I
of
know you guys
people
need-
jumping on.
yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
is there,
Okay.
so before you guys leave, is there anything that we could help you guys with, or anything you guys would want us to?
Yes.
Yes.
Earth Day.
For
So,
starters.
kind of like with what you guys do best. So, like, there's a lot of pieces that we don't really have a full understanding about, but like some sort of outreach at that event. 'Cause I know you had a table last year, I think, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Just a table.
well, you also had the building and but some sort of like bigger piece, like maybe
Trees, the
promoting
native
the.
In January, we
pollinators.
should have a group meeting again and sort of plan
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Like
Yeah.
quarterly or something, like
Yeah.
that, like just to keep on the
Yeah.
same,
Yeah, same
for
pulse,
that we-
you know.
For our,
Yeah.
for our event.
Yeah, I think that would be great,
That would be good.
Also,
especially since
for
you're
our,
on Thursdays.
just close your computer, we have, for our lecture or educational series, we have a bunch of things, if you guys wanted to do one on invasive species or anything like that, like feel free, like, so we just usually have like one a month, let's sometimes double up if we
Have a good
hot
thing.
topics, so.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. That's the one thing that we do very well is that we have these events that we do monthly and that 1 year event. And now I feel like it is scheduled and people kind of expect it. So that's something that would be good for you guys to tap into
Right.
to do your education and to do whatever. Because invasive species, I think that would be a really cool topic
Yeah.
to have for 1 month. And
Right,
you
like
know,
now with the spotted lanternfly, like
Yeah.
different.
exactly,
We're all
the
fighting
spotted
it.
lanternflies.
Which they're saying not to worry about now.
Yeah, they're-
Exactly,
they're-
so like.
they're not
so
gonna
like,
do
it's
much
just-
bother. So if you're interested in outreach and education, I think tapping into the monthly those monthly educational series will be great.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And then, we have a yearly and we have a monthly thing. That's kind of what we're doing
Yeah.
and what where our main focus is. And I think that's where we could really be able to help you.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great.
Right, so if you
That's
wanna
a good
use that
outlet.
as like
Your platform.
as your outlet,
Hmm.
we have it already, and
And
so
Yeah,
join in
pop
if
in.
you want, if you wanna, or any other topics that you
Or
want to.
maybe we could speak for 5 or 10 minutes about something that concerns us, and even if we're not doing the whole program, we could talk about the trail grant, the trail signs or something just to promote. Is that not
I
right?
would say that's sort of different than how it's, so like it tends to be like
Themed.
themed of like, it's
Yes.
compost
I
this
see.
month, and so somebody comes and lectures on compost, and it's like, I mean, we don't.
Diego.
But they
Okay.
could come in and do a lecture on the trail.
On the
Right,
trails,
right,
yeah,
right. That
exactly.
would be the whole thing, not just like
It would
talking
be-
about that initially.
Right,
and
it
then
can't, it
walking
shouldn't
out.
be like
That's what she was saying.
An
a
ad
plug.
Okay.
And
Oh,
then
yeah, no,
get
it's
out.
it's a
Like,
thing.
you
Although,
can talk about whatever you want, I don't care, the whole
I
time.
don't know that I have an hour to talk about that.
It's,
That's it.
no, but like some of the people
But
that
we're
are
We could
getting
make it
half an
into
hour-
the other
Half
thing
an
though
hour.
too is we are getting more creative with it now.
Right, more
Where-
interactive,
Libraries matching with Free Cycle
Yeah.
yeah.
at the same or close to the same time,
Yeah.
but they did
And
like the
that's
book
their
swap
thing.
at NEPCO.
Yeah.
We're doing our upcycling is going to be more of a
Like a workshop, kind of, not just a
workshop,
lecture.
roundtable talk, bring an appetizer, BYOB.
Yeah, great.
So it's like an event, like
Yeah.
it's. Maybe I'll learn something, but I really wanted to make this app,
there's
and I
different
want to get out
formats.
Friday night.
Like some
Yeah.
are just like,
Okay.
someone's gonna talk at you, some are like, you're gonna come and participate.
So if we had another grant to apply, we could perhaps count on your help and your, especially with exposure and the media and try to get the word out. Because that was part of the grant, making sure that other people were aware of it.
I would
We
say
can
yes, but just
do-
be careful, cause we're about to hit Earth Day season,
Yeah.
like now.
But
This is
so,
where-
Can't predict
however,
We can promote it at time.
but
Yes,
you
we
promote
we have
it
to
in that.
book- we have to
So
book things
You can jump
literally
into the
a
stuff,
year in
and we're
advance.
not
Yeah.
super great, but we're for Woodbridge we're super great. But and we keep right, the bar is really low, and we keep trying to up it. But you can tap into all of those because we are like more like 99% on the same page with everything. So you tap into it, and we are very creative at spinning what we want to push to fit whatever the thing is it's supposed to be. So do the same. Like we're doing Earth Day, and you have to have event. Well, make your flyer, cause we're gonna promote it on all of our things.
Oh, great.
If I
While
can,
you're doing yours, you know, so it's,
Oh, that's good.
you're
And
gonna
I like
double
the
dip
idea
into
too that, like, we
everything.
stay in the same format so that it is like easier for people to accept that, like, okay, there's these plaques here and there's gonna be the poetry plaques and there's gonna be this kind of, like, then it just becomes like it's the normal and it's not like we're all doing 10 different things that everyone's just confused about.
Yeah, similar with just something that spikes the different ones
I know-
out, so
I know
maybe
that
everybody has their
topic
color.
might be-
Or, you know, or your logo's big enough and you're aware of, it's the same old thing, but a different group. So I haven't seen this one yet, because you also don't want it to become wallpaper,
Right.
where you think that, I already read that one, I already saw that one. So it has to be a little bit different.
just a shameless plug here, since you guys are sustainability and you focus on alternate modes of transit. We've started the Beachy Bus to Beecher Road School every morning. We meet at the dog park at 7:55. We depart
It was some
and
sort
we
of-
bike all the way to Beecher and drop the kids off. So if you want to help promote that, that would be.
That's a great idea.
dog park, cornfields.
Great idea.
I think that's something Green Team can promote too.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, we can put that on our
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, we've had about 10 families participate.
10?
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
preferably
lot.
Green Team can put
Yeah.
that, and that'll
It's a
get in
bike
the
game.
principal's message.
Yeah, this guy won't do it.
Thank you guys so much for having
My
us.
kids are not even.
Thank you.
This is great, this is really,
All right,
Yeah,
we
thank you,
leave the
guys.
dog park between 7:55 and 8 o'clock.
Need to be there.
No, if we have enough adults, like you could drop Vincent off and he could ride with us.
And then does she ride back in the afternoon?
Oh, the other thing, you guys talked about upcycling before, all of you.
Yeah.
I've talked to Amity Bike about doing, like helping us facilitate a bike swap where people can bring in bikes. Kids are looking for bikes, they can take them,
Oh,
any of them
okay.
that are left over. they
Mr. B would be so excited.
That's a
He's
great
always
idea.
wanted to do this.
I've got a
They would
bike.
take.
Well, can you tell him that his favorite student of all time is doing it?
Yeah.
And he'll know exactly who you're
Do they
talking
have
about.
a date? Is that like a?
We're working on a date, so me and one of the other parents who lead the,
Definitely on Seymour Road.
the Beachy Bikes, I don't know if you know Rob Rosasco, he does it with me every day. But, yeah, so we're working, we've been talking to Kurt about it. And
Okay.
actually Kurt, they've said, you know, like, if students do it 50 times a year or something, they could get a coupon off of a tune-up. And Kate from Brown Fitness has also said she wants to donate like reflector lights for the kids.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for safety purposes.
It's like becoming a thing.
Yeah, it is. Like people are getting involved.
Can we like,
Hmm?
we have 2 small bikes?
Yeah, so if you have bikes that you want to just
Bikes of
get
any
rid of
size.
and you don't want them to go into the trash,
No, I don't.
the landfill, then people will be able to bring their bikes in and leave them there for others to take, and we'll try to get them, you know.
Please share the date with us and we'll advertise
Yeah.
that as well.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause-
I can put that on Green Team.
As
I
well.
will put the Beachy
Yeah.
bus, Beachy bus.
BICI, right?
Yeah.
BICI, yeah.
Okay.
I might be
Italian for
texting
bike.
you. I think I have to write it on.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Okay, adios, thank you.
That was great.
That's good.
Sorry, shameless plug.
That's cool. I didn't know it got so
good
big.
idea.
You gonna join us now?
If my kids would wake up.
Cora literally wakes up 5-10 minutes before we have to walk out of the house, and I'm like, great, there's your granola bar in the car. We gotta make it to the Beachy Bus on time.
Diane, you're on that committee too?
Which one? Yeah,
Oh.
I have so much free time.
Diana's everywhere.
Yeah, any committee's looking for additional members, just, I have 2 days free a week.
Shall we keep going?
Sure.
Beecher Road property, is this something you want to talk to us about, Ben?
Yeah, so we talked about this, I don't know what it was. It wasn't an application to inland wetlands, but it was some sort of thing, a hearing of some sort for some kind of a farm on, right across from Beecher. And we did have some concerns because we didn't know if there were limits to the number of animals that could be there and, potential nutrient inputs to, waterways and stuff like that. So I did a little research and, exchanged some emails with Chris Sullivan, and it sounds like the it sounds like it was not a hearing, there was something, there's some sort of a right by something where.
Right of use.
Right away.
Something along those lines where I think, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, I have no idea. It sounded like it was something where you're legally allowed to do this, but you just have to get an okay from inland wetlands. And they already voted on it, they said it was okay. And it doesn't sound like there's any other, there's nothing else
They have to
that the
pass
town has any input on, so I don't, I think this.
I'm just
this
getting
is
the
just-
letter that she wrote us that says that very same thing, is that it's sort of a,
Yeah, so I
that
think,
ship has sailed.
yeah, I think the ship has sailed and, it is what it is now.
Just can have a rooster. That was the one with the chickens.
Yeah, I think that's a rule, but I don't think there's a rule about
Number of
How many,
So, was
Whether it's
this
commercial
gonna
or
be,
not. That's what we talked about.
Somebody with, and I don't know, because I think if somebody wants to have chickens, they don't have to go through inland wetlands. So
Right.
it sounded like this was like a larger operation that was being planned.
Well, they were building greenhouses, and I think
Like to move
it's
a-
not commercial, but it's farm use.
yeah, that's my question. At what point does a farm become commercial?
Well, I think if
Like
it's
a
a
lease.
farm, never, right?
No? I mean,
It
if they
depends
had,
if you sell to the public or not, doesn't it? Whether it's commercial or it's going towards.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who are you selling to? Who's your end customer?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I think there's nothing for us to input on this at this point, so.
So you're saying, Ben, that this person can just have a farm of chickens, doesn't matter the number as far as anything?
I actually don't know what that's
The-
something we wanted to know, like,
Right.
what does this mean?
Yeah.
What potentially could happen? And I did ask that, but it was never really answered.
It was never, okay.
But what came back was, well, it's, the case is closed, so. So we're not sure. I mean, we could, if this was of potential concern to Beecher, we could just pass this along to the Board of Ed or the Education Commission or something like that and just say, are you guys concerned about this?
I don't think that's-
The bird flu that had been going around, that was pretty devastating
Well, it
for a
seems
lot
to
of.
me as a commission, we maybe should just pass, we have become aware of this, we don't know its consequences, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, but we want to make sure that you are aware of it in case you have concerns.
Yeah,
Public
yeah,
And I
health.
need to know
Is
some
there-
answers, and I think that's some of what the
Part of-
commission should do.
Yeah.
It should make,
I'm happy to send something to them.
Is there a public health licensing here, or
It didn't sound like it.
because they would look at all the parameters with the number of livestock, chickens, and
So I
didn't
think there's
sound like-
probably, my guess is that there's multiple layers of bureaucracy that you have to go through on the town level in TPZ, in our planning and zoning regs, right? You can have chickens, but you can't have a rooster, and that's about it. You can have livestock.
Yeah, this
In order to
included
be a
livestock,
farm, you need to be at least 5 acres, which I think this property is. But it brings back the conversation of TPZ's, been changing their regulations and needs to update their regulations, and we've reached out to them before, maybe with their new chair and newer members. We'll have greater success building that relationship where we can weigh in on some of the regulations that exist that are vague like this, where we say, there could be we see some potential like red flags that could come up. Not that we want to restrict,
Right.
a chicken farm or anything,
Right,
but,
but-
a chicken farm of 50,000 versus a chicken farm of 50, I think there's,
Very different.
yeah,
Yeah,
there
what
should
is
be
the-
some kind of licensing, public health or something like that to be looking
yeah,
at.
and we don't know if it's like for eggs or if it's
Right.
for, poultry. We don't know anything about that.
but what I'm saying, I think it behooves the commission itself just to let, and maybe they know all about it, Beecher knows all about this, but at least let them know that we have become aware of this potential situation if they want to look into it further. I mean, it's not that we have to look into it and make decisions, it's just we're letting the particular public know.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
That if all of a sudden they see some chickens running wild on their property, where they should shoo them back to.
Right. Don't let the kids catch them when they come zooming into the classrooms.
Oh my gosh.
Or do
Okay,
let
have
them
we
catch
talked
them.
about that enough?
Mhm.
I'm not sure where I stand on it, but if you guys think a letter's a good idea, I'm not opposed to it personally. I guess we don't need to vote on it, we're just, okay. Woodbridge Country Club, final report, 150 acres of future preservation. So we sort of touched on this before. I don't know what anyone has to say, but I
I
am
think
kind
we
of
should write
enthusiastic about it.
I think we should write a memo to the Board of Selectmen, requesting that they take action to put a conservation easement on the 115 acres.
Well, I think we should create a coalition with the Coopop and some of the other people, the trails people, and kind of do a little more background before we necessarily go right to them and build a little
Yeah, I was kind of thinking
strength.
along those lines
Okay.
too, because there's so many stakeholders in this, like people are so passionate about it. You know, it maybe, I mean, I think everyone knows our opinion at this point, so it might be better to have like a solid plan.
Maybe, I was
You know,
thinking
like-
creating a subcommittee of maybe land trust, trail people, Coopop, and create of how to present it and how to think about it and what kind of easement might be good
And how
Yeah, well, like what's the
literally
mechanism?
what steps do we
You
have
know,
to
I
take
was
to go
in-
to get such a thing?
Yeah.
I mean,
I was interested that when it was presented, I don't know if I think you were there, Val. Mika sort of suggested that we were already being given that edict to preserve it. It was sort of
we were already
implied,
being given what?
Edict.
the instructions that it would be in the Conservation Commission's role to help preserve it. So I think that that's great that he said that, and that maybe that's something to capitalize on.
Mhm.
What,
Yeah,
what
let's do
happened
it.
at the meeting? Was there a meeting last night?
No, this meeting was about a week or so ago when they did a presentation of making the public aware of what the final outcome of the Woodbridge Country Club plan was, with 2 different sections that are going to be developed, and they're very aware of all the layers that need to go on to make that happen. There needs to be zoning changes, and the sewage obviously was misrepresented and isn't adequate, but the concern is that once a developer buys that property, he may well say, 9 houses isn't enough for me to, there's not enough money in it. Let me try to create 15. I need another 20 acres. And I think what we want to do is, if this is what they've said, let's help them keep it to that amount
Codify it.
and preserve the other places which have obviously habitats that are important.
I thought there had to be a referendum before they could sell the
No,
property.
I can speak to that from last night too, and the town lawyer is still researching it, because in the charter does not specify, and we have had, at one point, we have had town meetings that approved this kind of, the sale or the lease of town property, and we've had referendums also, and he is continuing to look into it. He does not have an answer yet as to what we have to do.
I think one of the
Um,
options at a town meeting is that you can call for a referendum too. If there's enough people to vote that they want to vote, then that also, that was my
Right.
understanding from the meeting that I went to.
And that is another option, but so it hasn't been decided what has to happen if there is a potential sale or lease or whatever. Somebody did bring up the fact and said, well, is there any place for a town meeting for 6,000 people? Which was brought a little bit of laughter, but it's not too far-fetched in this particular
The
situation.
only place I could think of would be the country club.
Right, there you go. So that hasn't been figured out, but that is part of the thing. But I agree that I think there should be a group of people that get together and create a plan of the steps that we have to go through to secure this.
And I talked to Nicole, and we thought maybe starting it in a month or two and cleaning up other business before then.
I feel like the land trust might know a bit more about that.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I thought of, and I talked to Brian Pines about, and I think I mentioned it, is Brian Pines helping teach us maybe about a way that, how that might go, of what the options are for easements and conservation and stuff, and maybe even other people would also be useful to help us learn more about
Yeah,
the options of how to preserve land.
it just seems like the information is evolving, because I remember we talked about this over a year ago, and I thought it was decided that there was gonna be a referendum regarding the sale of the property. We did talk about that was part of the process.
The lawyer
It-
actually
the
at one
lawyer-
point said he thinks that there shouldn't have been referendums. And I think he
The
said there was
last
only
time.
one case where a referendum was okay, and then everything else was supposed to be town meetings. But it sounds like now he's still researching it. So
Yep.
that was actually news to even the selectmen. You know, a bunch of the selectmen were like, we didn't, you know, that's not how we understood it. But this
Right,
was
that's what
his
right.
most recent interpretation, as far as I understand. So it sounds like it's something that is not,
The
is
jury's
not set in
still
stone.
out.
Yeah.
He said that it's very, very complicated to try to figure out what is necessary.
It's interesting because, you know, according to the previous council, town council, it was very clear that everything was referendum.
So
Even lawyers.
I just started kind of jotting down different stakeholders. So, and I think maybe we don't need to necessarily have a group of all these people, but I think we need to at least have all of their input, our group. So there's
We'd add sustainability to
the
it,
land
too.
trust, CUPOP, Parks Association, certain members, certain selectmen, I think are very keyed into this. Trails, sustainability. Are there any
Maybe
other?
Public Works, since they'd be involved in
Works.
What about the
maintaining-
ag?
Yeah.
Ag commission?
I mean, some of these groups will have more major or minor roles in it.
Yeah, you know, I think we need to at least at minimum talk to someone from everybody and get their input.
And
you know.
maybe the birders.
Oh yeah, the local birders. That's a good list.
And
John Q. Public.
Yeah, I feel like, so I guess the way I was thinking that it might work, I don't know if this is right, is we could present them with a very well-researched plan, and then I imagine they would have like a public comment on it. So then, you know, we would put this plan out, and then the public could comment on it, you know, through that process. And then, based on that, I guess then they could make any decision that they wanted to make.
Now, you know, the land trust tried to put an easement on it a long time ago, or not long ago, several
Well, I
years
think
ago,
the
and they were
difference
turned
is
down
that-
flat,
well, the
so,
difference is that the administration is for it,
exactly.
and there's other parts that at
Presumably.
least have intended development, so it's making a compromise between those two things, which is different. So
Absolutely.
I think we should just project that rather than project what they didn't do before, you know, because I think
Oh, absolutely, no, I
I
agree
mean,
with you, it's,
it was very clear at the Fountain Street, you know, that about, I don't know how many people, between 50 and 70 people spoke, and no one spoke for it. So it's clear that people want preservation and
and open space
an open space.
preserved.
Right. Okay, so
And I feel like if we, you know, if we did a good job listening to everybody at these groups, and you know they were happy with what we were proposing, I think we're going to get a lot of support at the public comment.
and maybe neighbors. Have a
Yeah,
neighbor.
neighbors. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Well, should
Definitely.
we start out by a couple of us starting to talk to some of these groups and saying this is,
I think we should start out by a subcommittee of ourselves trying to get a better idea of what or maybe devote a meeting to it, or, you know, like, getting a better idea of who we talk to, what kind of letter we wanna write, how, I think we should,
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
a subcommittee of us who wants to
Yeah.
work on that? It sounds like we've got a subcommittee right here.
we do have subcommittees. Okay, so I think we
That's our
should
next
give
step.
ourselves the next few months to cultivate it. And we can sort of tell people generally we're working on it and, but I don't think we'll present it to them officially until we have a really good package. That would be my,
No, I agree with you completely. I just think that
yeah.
we need to start spreading to the board that we are now working on a plan for,
I think if Coupop wants to be involved, they do a lot of good documentation of things if they're behind it. Okay,
and I
So-
think, yeah.
So I think I think the mechanism of protection is good, but I think we also should think about like a management plan. Like we
Yeah,
should
that's-
sort of
yeah.
make sure that that's part of this because,
and even a budget that might be
yeah,
needed.
so,
Or
I
a
think we need
volunteer
to think about,
inspiration.
okay, we're gonna protect it, who's gonna manage it?
Mm-hmm.
How are we gonna get a management plan? Like, let's.
Was it Fitzgerald that they did a management plan for Alice Newton?
At Fitzgerald, we talked about that,
They did a management plan for Alice
a
Newton.
forest management.
But they have one already for the Alice Newton?
Yeah,
Yes.
So, maybe looking at that both for the Fitzgerald property and for the Country Club property.
that's right, and that's what I'm glad you mentioned that, because we should talk about the Fitzgerald.
I apologize, I have 15 minutes, then I have to run.
Okay, so let's speed this up. The CT Deep Trails Grant.
Woot woot, it's done, great job.
Yes, well, it's not
okay.
quite, we've done all the trails, we've done,
Gotta finish the
it's so
lesson
people-
plans and the promotion to
I
the
think we
community.
need promotion, and I think, Barbara, can you spearhead that with help from maybe Val and me?
And the sustainability.
I mean, I
They
don't
can
think we
help.
need to do that much, because over time we can continue to do it, but I think some maps and some way of letting people know. And maybe that with Steve Austin, or Tim Austin, or, does that seem reasonable?
Yep, no, that's fine.
Cool. Birds and bats?
So, I'm hoping to get the deep biologist who did the bat study to give a presentation,
For us?
to us.
And maybe for sustainability.
Yeah, so that's actually, I was just thinking about that, is, maybe she could take one of those sustainability slots, that would be really
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Because that's what we want, is like
Okay.
public.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So I think it's like busy season analyzing data and stuff like that right now, so. I'm
Okay,
gonna
but maybe reach
to her
out and say
again.
maybe in March we could do something.
Mhm.
And maybe, do you have any email addresses of any sustainability people? Maybe Diana could
I
give
have
it to
all
you?
of them.
Yeah, I think, I have ways to get hold of them.
Okay, I bet you do. Okay, TPZ, we talked about the public hearing and the POCD, and we were open to working with them in any way that is workable
So it sounds like they're still having their public hearing on.
on Fountain Street.
On Fountain Street, it was
on,
continued.
on the POCD.
Oh, really? I haven't heard about
Yeah,
any
so
public
they-
hearing.
They just mentioned, I mean, it was in the meeting, the very end of the meeting,
Oh.
Yeah.
after everybody left, 'cause I watched it. And they said, they announced it had been rejected, and then they just said, our public hearing is this date, and then they just kind of moved on. So it sounds like,
They want some input.
it sounds like they're still planning on having their public hearing.
Oh,
So,
their public hearing to,
for the POCD. So
We should publicize that. That should be
that's
publicized.
something that we should think about, because we could update our input and provide
Wasn't it
additional
something
input.
like November 3rd? Like the day before
Oh.
the election?
I can't remember, I don't know what the
Let me
date
check.
was. That sounds right though.
That sounds
Of
bad.
course.
Okay, so, Coupop, do you have any Coupop thing to say?
No, because
So I guess.
they haven't had a meeting
Okay,
since,
Could we go back to TPZ? So do we want to?
I just was waiting for Diana
Oh, okay,
to come
sorry.
back. No,
I-
we can go back.
I was just wondering, do we want to like update our feedback?
Sure.
Um,
Ben,
Like,
Ben, we
is there
do.
additional-
We very much do.
All right, so let me, yeah, because I think there's probably some additional stuff we could, so the board transmitted our feedback that we gave to them,
Uh-huh.
but, you know, we could update it.
I think we should be
resubmit
at the
it.
public hearing too.
Yeah, we should be, yeah.
I
I'm gonna
guess
keep-
I don't want. I'm sorry about TPZ, Edward. I'm going back to some. I'm sorry to go back to 804, but if people are denounced it, including the
Fire chief,
and the Democratic town,
committee.
why is it just?
the
Why is it still on the
TPZ
ti-
has not renounced it.
Oh, I thought they. Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah,
they are
haven't
still,
voted on it yet.
The
haven't voted
Democratic-
on it and have been pretty gung ho about it up until now, so we don't know the outcome of it is.
Mm.
Do you have enough, is that enough information?
Mm.
Do you have any questions?
Mm.
So the Fitzgerald property, Mika, Andrea, Diana and I and Tim Austin all walked it. There's, around the fields is, choice forests, and I know I'm not using the right word, but it's forests of interest and have a better habitat. Now, of course, the beech tree disease, leaf disease, is devastating the beautiful beaches.
Yeah, those are really just beautiful grove
And it's-
beaches there.
It's not beautiful.
Oh no, it's
No,
already got it,
it's
huh?
really got it.
That's so sad.
So they gave, so what was discussed is the need for a forestry plan. And it costs us $6,000 probably, at least other similar ones have. So their suggestion was that we try to help negotiate or to write a grant or, and Andrea had some input and she knows that world really well, and maybe we have a subcommittee that meets up with Andrea to get more insight into how to do that, or maybe we meet with other people who are, people at Deep, but if we could do, I think that would be another goal, is I do feel like if we protect the country club, Fitzgerald will be under more pressure to be developed or leave unprotected, so I think we need a forestry plan to highlight its ecological benefits also. So I think, to me, in the next, as well as the open space plan that Diana is aware of, those are our, the POCD is gonna keep going, Fountain Street's gonna keep going, but I think those are the two long-standing plans that are of worth. And I just wanted other people's thoughts about that.
When you speak of a forestry plan, are you speaking specifically for,
A forester comes and makes a 10-year plan of how to help protect what things to do different years to protect the forest.
but is that specifically of Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
Or the entire,
No, it's
any
Fitzgerald.
forest? that
No,
we
I
have
think
a-
they do it with certain spaces because
Okay.
each space has some unique needs. And he really pointed out how the deer have devastated the undergrowth. And
Some
that's
areas in
true of-
particular.
The whole
It's
place?
everywhere, yeah.
and talked about, okay, so Diana, what we're talking about is trying to work on getting a forester to do a 10-year forestry plan and trying to find the funding for that. And Mika sounded somewhat interested.
Oh,
And-
yeah,
and
actually, I think Andrea mentioned that there is
Some grants.
There's a grant coming out, it's
And we
public
should get-
information, and it can help you manage your core forests. If you don't have a forest management plan, then you can use you can use the funding to actually develop it.
Yeah, so maybe that would be our next grant.
Yes.
That might be good for country club too, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
If we could put in multiple grants, I
Yeah.
don't know if they.
yeah, Ben. Open space, do you want to speak to that in your 5 minutes left, Diane?
No, I do. Before I get to that, I just wanted to mention the TPZ public hearing continuation on Fountain Street is October 21st, back in the senior meeting room.
Do you know what time?
6 o'clock, I think they meet.
I think this last one was 6:30, but okay. Okay, and did you find out when the POCD public hearing is?
I'm on that now. There was nothing posted on it.
Can I fill some space with member comment at this moment?
Please comment away, member.
CACUAC is an organization that both the wetlands and TP and conservation are interested in, and we could share the dues with wetlands. And I want to just tell you that I think we should pay $60 from our funds to stay part of CACUAC. Or is everyone in agreement with that?
Absolutely.
To say what?
To stay part of this organization, which is an environmental organization of the state. It's called CACUAC,
Oh.
Connecticut what was it?
Association,
Center of
Inland Wetlands
and Conservation.
Oh.
and Conservation.
And they have a meeting, a day-long seminar that Barbara and I have been to a few times. It's really excellent with a great lunch and great speakers on November 15th. And we have 2 people that can go for free. And we could pay for another person from our funds if we wanted to, but we can share it from, there's some funds that could be utilized for that. Does anyone want to go?
Oh, where is it?
I forget where, I haven't.
It's
looked
always
at-
in like Bristol, right?
Yeah.
It's in
So-
Berlin, I think it's Berlin.
I wouldn't mind
It
going.
might be Bristol, I don't know, it's,
November
So
Might
15th.
be.
I would definitely want to go.
It's a Saturday?
Let me, I need to confirm with.
I think
with
that
the
would be
family.
great if you went.
And I mean, I could pay $60 myself and go if I don't want to take someone else's spot, but I'd be happy.
And I have something I have to do in the morning, but I might want to go in the afternoon, and I would be willing to,
What time is the event from again?
9 to 4.
Oof, that's a full day.
But you can go for, a lot of the chunk of it is in the morning. That has 3 seminars, and that's the part I would probably miss. But it seems like the thrust and the most important, there's a
they
speaker and
have
there's
good
breakout
speakers,
sessions.
really good speakers,
Yeah.
really good
It's really worth
subjects.
doing.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go. Also, yeah, I'd be interested in going, and like Ben, I'm happy to pay for
You
myself.
can go in the morning, and I can go in the afternoon. We can be
I
one
term
person.
out in December, so everybody knows.
You're going to turn back in, right?
I term out in December. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure everybody wants me to term back in.
We do.
Yeah, let's hope. you
Kathy,
do.
don't laugh so hard. But with that,
Does anyone else term out? You do, Val?
I think I do too,
Oh, really?
25, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
they are,
Okay. And are you interested in terming back in if possible?
Yup,
I would be.
Let's hope the answer is yes.
Okay. Okay. We don't have any authority over that, obviously.
we do.
And Ben and I have 2 more years, right? And Rachel does
have-
too.
And so Rachel, Ben, and Sharon are good in through 2027. Still have a vacant seat.
So Ben, I think you should definitely be one of the people who goes because you are more likely to be here.
I don't term out.
You don't term out. So why don't we 3 figure it out we're all figuring it out, but we need to do it by October 18th because there's a discount by then. So can people
Gotcha.
get in touch with Chris Sullivan? And if you're told that you're already, the slots are taken, I think we can figure out a way to pay $60 for another person. Okay?
Mhm.
Sound good?
With that in mind, by next meeting, we need to vote on our meeting schedule for 2026. I did a cheeky AI cheat here to give me a list of all the first Thursdays of the year, starting with in January, which is January 1st. I'm going to recommend that we move that one to January 8th.
What a good idea.
Hope nobody's opposed to that. I have not reviewed them. The other ones are February 5th, March 5th, April 2nd, May 7th, June 4th, July 2nd.
Can you send that around to all of us so we can get
I
an
will. I'm
idea?
just going to list them out here now so everybody's got it. I have this in a document to send to you. July 2nd, August 6th, September 3rd, October 1st, November 5th, and December 3rd. I'm going to go through and just confirm that there's no conflict with the school calendars that we know, graduation dates, holidays.
Sounds great. And then send it out with a modification if you do find a holiday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Like,
that'd be great.
like New Year's Day.
Yeah, that's New Year's Day. We'd wobble it on in. Okay. Do you want to talk about open space at all?
I'm gonna postpone that till next meeting, but
Okay.
update to begin in October. Yep.
So Kathy, can you write in our notes that some of the possible agenda goals for next year are forestry plan for the Fitzgerald property, and these are to be discussed more, and a protection of the non-developed areas of the Woodbridge Country Club, and also an open space plan. So I feel like we've, plus, finishing up the POCD stuff, right? Isn't that sort of, are people in agreement that that's sort of where the agenda's headed? And it's always about buying any land that we can. Okay. Social media, it sounds like we have a new little hook in that with the sustainability, which I think is really exciting. Maybe we should create a sustainability liaison.
Well, don't we
Yeah,
have
but
one?
Diane, right.
Yeah, we
We have one, that's right. We have one on,
At least.
on site.
I can also put a little update in this area too. So Rachel and I met with Kathy, Allison, and Karen, and about the webpage. And so they basically said that there are a bunch of options for us to make.
Sorry.
There are a bunch of options for us to make like sections on the webpage and put documents in there, organize things better. We could change the layout. You could actually have a pretty flexible layout with different widgets and stuff like that. So I think the next step would be we should just kind of come up with how we want to organize the information. Like what sections do we want? What little areas do we want? We talked about like, could we have a little, news section that we could put updates in? We could have a section for, say, the country club, the Fitzgerald Tract, 804 Fountain Street, these sorts of things. So that's kind of where we left it. And then Allison was going to write a sort of an overview of what all the different widgets were, so we just could see what the different options were for the website. And that's kind of where it's at now. So we're at least
That's
moving
cool.
forward.
Great.
And there is there's still this random link that goes to a box.
Oh, right,
Not
that
Dropbox,
Tim
but
did or
Box,
somebody
yeah,
did?
and Allison said she actually, like, you can't even download anything from it. So we should probably
Oh, we
Just-
need someone who's good at computers.
maybe either just take that down. I don't know if we need someone to look at that and see if there's any information that needs to
Is
be
that the
up.
box that
It was
Tim
from
had?
2022.
Yeah.
I think when Betsy Agla was in my spot, she did something, but
Okay.
Karen clicked on it, like you said, it goes nowhere, so we just have to figure out how to.
Yeah, so
Make
we
that
have to
go
decide if there's information there that we want to still make public elsewhere, or, I mean, we could just, take off the link and,
Be
But
done.
was
No, I
that
don't
the
know.
We
box
should
that
maybe get in
Tim
touch with Tim and
put
see
together?
what he thinks.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
he may, I think he was trying to get us all to be able to go someplace.
yeah,
We never-
it could
Yeah,
be.
yeah, he wanted the public to be able to go in and like click a link and access all the documents for conservation, all the plans and everything.
But we can achieve that same idea, but through the website, and we can make it a little more navigable, so that because it's actually like the folders, it's not super clear what's even in them or what the files mean, so, I think we can highlight things in a much better way through the website.
Okay,
So
I
that's
agree.
kind of where we're at now. And then, in terms of outreach, I am planning on writing a sort of a blurb, hopefully for Sheila's newspaper. What is it called? Woodbridge News or something?
Mika brought up that, I guess a blurb about the deep trails? No.
Well, this was about the bat study at the country club.
Oh,
I just thought it might be kind
Uh-huh.
of appropriate because like Halloween time. So
Mm.
like
Okay.
people are thinking of bats and
And I think
Yeah,
we
that's
should
good.
also,
That's good for the
maybe
kids.
we could write a little, have her write, she was interested in writing something about the trails.
that'd be good too, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I've got that drafted. It has a bunch of, it's not complete, but once I get it, a good draft, I'll send to you guys, to just see what you think. But I need to get that out soon because I wanna make sure it's out before Halloween.
All right,
I haven't talked to Sheila about it, so assuming she wants to publish it.
okay.
It's up to the editor.
Um, so it seems like next month we could do more with social media. We could start to talk about open space. We could see where we are at with the Deep Trails grant and the publicity.
And we may have the housing commission with us.
Oh, right, we may have housing.
Committee, sorry, housing committee, but,
And-
they've termed out, right?
It will be commission next month. They voted
To make it a commission.
to make it a commission, but it's a month from yesterday, I guess, that it becomes official. But the interesting thing is that all the members have termed out. Even though they were meeting yesterday at the same time as the Board of Selectmen. And I guess they are under the serve until replaced. But it did say that they did agree that they had to appoint all new members or reappoint or whatever you call it
Okay.
in this particular situation.
And did they also agree that you can't be on a committee
Yeah.
and Board of Selectmen?
Commission, you can't be on-
I don't know that they.
Oh, they
they
that's
have-
rolled
that's
out?
still-
Agree on
Those
that.
rules are still being in process, I think.
They did not agree on that.
Okay.
It was discussed, but it was not,
I thought it was discussed at the previous Board of Selectmen meeting.
well, it was
It
discussed
was
again
discussed.
at the last, the one yesterday, but it was.
Okay,
nothing was
Diana,
done
I've
about it.
written some notes for us making the agenda for next month.
Sparkly. I've sent around the draft schedule for next year for everybody to review. I checked it with the Jewish holidays and the US holidays and Beach Road School calendar and the Amity calendar. And so
Oh.
far, there were no conflicts. I don't know how that happened, other
Great.
than New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Okay, great. I think that, do you want to
So-
be here for the, oh, you have one more thing?
I could, well, are we on to member, are we closing?
Yeah,
or are we-
let's do member comments. Do you
So
have-
I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. So I gave public comment at housing yesterday, just to make a couple of points and you know, acknowledging that we're gonna talk with them in a month, but just to sort of give them some perspective on, you know, conservation perspective, like why we're concerned about what we are. Basically that we are, you know, conservation is inherently location-based. You know, we can't choose where ecosystems are, we have to accept them. And how this sort of differs from housing goals where you can actually have choices where to
Good
build things.
point.
Excellent point.
And so,
Good
and
point.
then the other point I made was that there were some comments in the last housing meeting about, I think some misconceptions around that all, you know, the conservation committee, their job is to say no to housing. That comment was made. And so I just said that, you know, that's actually a misconception. In fact, we're not. I think there's a lot of areas where we agree with them, and you know, we can. I think they were happy to hear that. I tried to make the point. I think I made the point, but I didn't make it as well as I wanted to. That you know, so they have like a multifaceted approach, but by also pushing like high density development on ecologically sensitive areas that really is a lightning rod in town, they're actually doing a big disservice to the people that they're trying to serve, because it's really hard to get those projects through. And they might not even be successful. So they could actually help people, the people they want to help, much faster if they worked with us and worked with the town to get the kind of housing that people would accept here. And it's still gonna further their goals. And then
Good point.
somebody made a, you know, I mentioned the country club a couple of times, and so one of the members asked, why do you guys care so much about the country club when it used to be just a golf course? You know, and so, you know, so I could kind of give a very long answer about like, well, the fact that it was disturbed is why it's so important now, because it's this transition habitat that's very rare across the landscape, and the natural processes that created those things are not around anymore, so that's why it's so important. And they seemed like kind of like this was new information to them. So that just made me realize that we should do a much better job of getting this information out there.
Yeah, they haven't even seen the conservation reality, the perspective that we hold so
Yeah.
clearly as a reasonable thing, because they haven't really heard understood why it's important.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they were sort of, they seemed very receptive to it, actually. So I think, I thought overall it was a good interaction. And
Seems like a good interaction before we all meet. It was like a primer, so that they could have a little more perspective about where we're at, so that when they come, we can work together better.
yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping to sort of get some of that stuff,
Laying the
front load
groundwork.
some of that, so that we can have a good discussion when we actually talk.
That's good.
Would there be a good point in coming up with some discussion points for next month's meeting? Instead of just throwing out, what can we
Yeah.
do to help, what can you do to help, kind of thing, some
Yeah, I
things
think
that we
we'd
would
make
like
it
to.
more constructive too.
Yeah, I think if we could, try to focus on the things that we agree on. That was the other point I tried to make, was that, so they had made some comments about when they meet with us, we're gonna have to meet in the middle, and we're both gonna have to give something up. And I just thought that was not the right framing. Because I don't think we should be focused on what the other group has to give up. I think that we can find solutions where we both meet our goals. And I feel like that should be the focus.
I think for me, I hear a lot about housing, and I hear there's very different goals, like what the city wants, what this one, and maybe a brief summary
Yeah.
of the reality of what they're looking for. I mean, if they're looking for 1,500 houses, that's hard to do and keep our environment looking the way it is. If they're looking for 25, where is it? And I understand that Governor Lamont didn't sign in to law the bill that they thought they were going to be working under.
Right.
And so what is their
Mhm.
both the legal need and the interest, and who are these people that are wanting this housing? Are they just nebulous people, or are they people that, I don't
Yeah, that
really
might be-
understand.
I
I
think
don't, on a granular level, I don't,
I don't understand either what's going on with why there is such a big disconnect with everybody regarding housing. And I'm wondering, and I know I've gone to the meetings and heard the opposition, why don't we hear from the other committees or commissions? Like, for example, I didn't hear you say conservation. You spoke for yourself, I believe, and so did Doug. I didn't hear it came from the conservation committee. So what about all the other commissions? I'm not hearing back
where
from
they're
them.
at with it.
I have no idea. Are they for it? Are they against it? I'm just not sure what's going
Even
on.
beyond that is, what are we for or against?
Right.
And what is our goal? And is it because the state wants something? Is it because we know the need? Is it because the general state has the need? I mean, it all is like just a soup of.
It is. If no one's really defining really
And
what they
Val,
want.
I hope you're there, because I think you could ask
Mhm.
more
But
granular
every time I ask a
questions.
question, there really is no answer. I've asked the same question several times.
Well,
I don't understand exactly. I know what affordable housing is. I know exactly what the median incomes are. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're executing it. I don't know
Okay,
what
well-
they're doing. I don't know if they know what they're doing.
I feel like that would be a really good start for the meeting. I mean, if we just sort of sat down and really understand each other's goals, and
It could
really
be.
I
It could
would-
be a little tricky too, because, yeah, I mean,
I think
that could
information's
polarize
important.
us if they say they want 20,000 houses here. We'd be
Yes,
like,
yeah.
But the other thing is, if Woodbridge, people came to Woodbridge for a certain feel, and I don't believe every town has to be the same. And I think that's what they want. I think they have a problem with one town being different than other towns, and every town has to be the same.
That's where
The
And
same.
I don't personally agree with that as a
That's
realtor.
where that whole European idea struck me so much, is that they seemed to value that it didn't just become one sprawl. It had like, everyone had their
Little-
hamlet, and they
little
had
hamlets, yeah.
environmental greenery and forest around them. I mean, I'm sure not all of Europe is like that, but when I was flying over it, I was like, wow, little farm, little this, and it didn't feel like, because even in our country, once it gets rural, it gets kind of rural and doesn't have like a nestle of, I mean, it has towns, but it just felt a little different. So I think it's a good question, like, is your goal really to make it part of the urban sprawl? Or do you value that we have something different to offer, so some people might be here that wouldn't want to be, I mean, some people love cities and don't want to be around greenery.
Yeah,
And that's
I'd just
fine
love
too.
to
That's,
hear their
that's what this
perspective.
country's
Yeah.
about,
Mhm.
picking
And I
having
think maybe we should
choices
have a
and-
timer
I think
of like each of us.
part of the what's going on is this real fear about the lawsuit, about, you know, Woodbridge should have take far more part of the burden of affordable housing than it ever has. I read an article in something I had never heard of before. It was called The Independent.
Yeah.
And it was about the TPZ meeting. And that was all right, but then below it were all these comments from people, and there were some people that just blasted the town for not taking on some of the burden of New Haven's low income or affordable income people. And then there were others that were saying, well, you can't tell Woodbridge what to do. You're New Haven. New Haven has to solve its own problems. And they were saying, of course we can. They're right there. And somebody else mentioned, well, you know, if you're on the border of Massachusetts and Connecticut can't tell Massachusetts just because they don't like what Massachusetts is doing. They can't tell them what to do. You know, so New Haven, and it was a very interesting
I
back
also
and
wonder
forth.
if it's the proportionate is by our population or by amount of space. I mean, we're only 8,000 people, right? I mean, how much, I mean, I'm not speaking with any knowledge, but this is what I'd like to understand. I mean, is it because New Haven's 20 square miles and we're 8 square miles that we should take on 2/3, or is it because there are 150,000 people and we're 8,000 people, we should take on 1/8 or 1/20th?
Or
you know, like,
whether
how
it's to do with the amount of unimproved land.
Right. So I
that
think there's
is
a lot
left.
that we can learn, and maybe we will.
So I can tell you one goal that Kathy Hunter said to me is, one of their goals is that there should be affordable housing in areas where the residents can access green space and trails and that sort of thing. That they said that was one of their
Well,
one of
except
their
they're
goals.
getting rid of that green space so the housing can be there. That's the tricky
Yeah,
part.
so anyway, that was sort of one goal that she mentioned.
Uh-huh.
And you know, I'm sure there's other ones that they have that they can
Which-
illuminate us with, but
Which does bring up another point that we spoke about at the last meeting, and I think we should talk about it a little bit more, just because I think it's a fabulous idea of taking some of the publicly owned property and making pocket parks out of it.
yeah, I like that. And Tim's
Mhm.
idea, yeah.
So it's sort of
Why don't we try to put that
spread
on
all
next?
over town.
Mhm.
I think it's an excellent idea. It's kind of reminds me of what they.
And maybe we start a list with Coopop of things we want to talk with them about. Coopop would be that, and the Woodbridge Country Club, protection. So we have a working session with them.
Mhm.
We can meet twice a month.
Yeah. How about every day?
Is anyone ready to adjourn?
I can
Sure,
make a
I'll
motion.
move.
I second it.
All in favor? Unanimous.